caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the
I'm back, you guys, and it's me, Sherelle H, and this is Healing Conversations, and I'm back with another video. And tonight's video is taking the steps to heal you. All right, taking the steps to heal you, and let's get into it. So, I want to get deep into this video. A lot of us don't realize that healing is a process, that healing takes time, that healing is not something that you snap a finger and overnight you're just going to be mysteriously healed, and everything in your life that you went through as a child, whether you had trauma or anything that happened in your life, whether you were abused or anything, etc. You know, we could go on and on about the things that could have happened to made you needed to heal from. I'm sorry, I can't talk, y'all. That you may need to heal from. So a lot of us unaware of that. I went years thinking that everything in my life was normal. I dated men who treated me like garbage. I struggled with codependency. I struggled with anxious attachment style. I struggled with thinking that the things in my life were normal. And then I struggled with making decisions because I was so used to going to my parents for everything because of my codependency that it led me to, even as an adult now, I still struggle to make decisions because I'd be like, is this the right decision? Should I be doing this? Should I not be doing it? And I go to my parents still looking for them for like, what should I do? And it's like, Sherelle, you're a grown adult. Why are you still going to your parents? But it's how I was raised. It's that codependency that kicks in. And for years, I didn't even know I had codependency until I went to a certain therapist. And she said, Sherelle, you have codependency. And I'm like, what is that? And we started opening books and doing therapy sessions. She was opening the door for me to learn more about it. And I didn't know I had anxious attachment style until I had more therapists who I saw over the years tell me, Sherelle, you have this too. And then it dawned on me that these are things I had. I started buying books on codependency. I started buying books on anxious attachment style, trying to figure out who I was in the hopes of trying to heal this broken child inside of me, this inner broken child that needed to be healed so badly. And I just struggled with a lot of things and not knowing what directions to go into or where to go or who to go to because I was just struggling really bad. And so a lot of us don't realize that we need to heal ourselves and take those steps to heal. So I'm going to break down steps that I took to heal and steps that you can also take as well to heal. Everything I do on this channel, you guys will see that I always add myself as an example and everything, because anything I talk about, I've been through. I'm never going to speak on something I know nothing about unless I've researched it. But let's get into this, y'all. I want to be a little chatty Patty. Is that what they call it? Or chatty Kathy? That's my mom's name, by the way. Oh my God. Hope she don't see this video. But anyway, one step to heal, you guys, you have to acknowledge that you have a problem. Again, I had to go to therapy. I had to acknowledge that there was something going on within me. If you are not willing to acknowledge the issue, you will never heal the problem. If you're in an abusive relationship, you don't acknowledge the fact that you're being abused, you cannot heal. If you are dealing with childhood trauma because your mom and dad did something to you in your childhood that you never got over, and you choose not to address it, you will never heal. If you choose not to address something that may have happened in high school, you could have been bullied and you still struggle with that to this day because you feel like you're not good enough. You have to address the trauma in order to heal it. And most of us do not do that because we feel like there's no problem, or we're just so used to living that way that we think it's normal. The way I was living, I thought was normal. It was not normal. The things I was doing, things that was happening to me, the people I had around me, none of it was normal. It was all chaos and confusion. And I preach a lot about that to you guys, chaos and confusion. But you have to acknowledge the problem. Say, hey, there is a problem here that needs to be fixed. And again, you guys, you can't fix the problem alone. So the second thing you have to take a look at is go to therapy. Please seek therapy. I'm going to harp that a lot on my channel. A lot of people think, oh, I don't want to talk to a stranger. I'm not going to tell her my business because I don't know her. She don't know me and all this stuff. But sometimes you do have to go to an outside source and you have to speak to someone even though you may not want to. Go to a therapist, somebody that can professionally help you, somebody that can help you feel better, somebody that can hear you and listen to you. You have to talk it out and fix the issues. I do CBT therapy with my therapist. I've done DBT therapy as well. I have sat in those sessions, I've bawled my eyes out, I've cried, but the point is I'm somebody there to help me because you can't heal by yourself. I was thinking we can't because I thought it too. A lot of times I would get in therapy and say, I'm sick of this therapist. I don't want to do this anymore. I got this. I don't need her. I'm not paying this copay no more. I'm done. And I would walk away from therapy for months or sometimes for a year. And I would get into these situations like Sherelle. I'd be like sitting alone in my room, going through some, looking in the mirror like, I need my therapist. I need my therapist. I gotta talk to somebody. So I'm panicking because at this point, I haven't seen my therapist in a year. And I'm looking around like, where is she? And I thank God for the therapist that I have now, because I saw her 2 years prior and I ended up seeing her again last year. I started seeing her again last year, and she remembered me and everything. So the rapport was still there, thank God. But I say this to say I feel comfortable with my therapist because she does know me and she does help me. And to me, you do want to have a therapist that you're comfortable with, somebody that you can relate to, somebody that uplifts you, makes you feel good, and who is there for you. But you have to talk to a therapist. You have to be able to talk to somebody to heal those wounds, because trust me, so many people think they can heal themselves. You cannot. You need help. And talking to a stranger, to me, is one of the best things, because it's somebody who doesn't even know you. So you can actually be who you want to be without feeling like you're being judged. So please go to therapy to heal, guys. Another thing I want to suggest when you're healing, you need to be surrounded by family and friends who love you while you're healing. You cannot heal in a box. You cannot heal thinking that you don't need the support of your family and friends. You're going to need them during your healing process. In fact, you should take your girlfriends can take you out to dinner while you're healing. They can take you shopping. Y'all can have sleepovers. Y'all can enjoy each other's company. Y'all can do whatever y'all do. I don't know what it is. I always say sleepovers. I don't know why. Because I just feel like sleepovers are so cool. But even as adults, you can still have sleepovers with your girlfriends. I mean, hell. Get your PJs on and have a girls' night. Drink your wine. I'm just saying. Um, I I remember doing that a lot with my girlfriends. We get together, you and the girls, you're all single, having a good night, enjoy yourself, enjoy it. But I do want to say again, get your girlfriends and then your family. Hang with your family and friends, do stuff with them, talk to them about it. You can go to your family and friends if you trust them, talk to them about your healing journey and what you're going through and what you're experiencing, because they may be able to give you some advice and some tips, some things that you can take with you as you're healing. And don't shun them out, because they can be the ones that can help you. My biggest issue was I used to mask a lot of times, and when I masked, I would try to cover up how I was feeling, and I wouldn't talk to my mom or dad or family, friends, or nobody. And then it would get to the point where it felt like everything was just exploding in me because I was not releasing it. So finally, now I'm in a place like Sherelle. No, when you feel like this, you have to release. You can't hold it in. You got to release. You got to talk to somebody. You got to tell somebody what you're going through. And so go to your family and friends that you trust them and open up to them about your healing. I promise you, they love you and care about you. They're going to be there for you. Another thing is, you need God to heal. God is going to be your gateway through your healing journey. You have to have God in your life while you're healing. I promise you guys, when I was in my room on my floor crying for days at a time, not eating, not sleeping, almost fainted at one point. I mean, I was going through a lot last year. And when I tell you, I would not have made it without God. God, I prayed to him every day. I started going back to church. I started reading my Bible, started reading my Christian books, and God was my savior. He heard me. He lifted me up off the ground like no other. And I'm going to tell you, I remember getting on my hands and knees, crying to God, screaming to God, pleading with God in my closet, pleading with him on my bedroom floor, asking him to save me, asking him to take me out of this pain. And I remember as soon as I got up off that floor, when I tell you, it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, like God heard me. And it didn't feel like this dark cloud was sitting on me anymore, because God was listening to me. But I'm telling you, you need God to heal. And I know not everybody's religious, so I get it. I'm not going to push no religion onto you, but I'm just telling you, what works for me is God. He is going to be that main thing for you. If you believe, like he will get you through it. You got to heal through God. You do. You got to heal through God. You also have to go back to your past in order to heal. I know we hate that part, because I hate it. Trust me, I do. I'm still healing and I'm still like, I got to go back to my past. No, because you think, go towards the future, forget the past. People always say, don't look back, look forward, right? But when you're healing, you got to go back to your past. It hurts. It sucks because you got to remember things that you probably have shut out, because I hate when things that I forgot pop up in my head. But in order to heal, you got to go back to your past. You got to go back. And yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, it's going to feel like crap, because you're like, I don't want to go back there. But you have to. Because you have to kind of go back to get to the point that got you where you are. Because if you don't go back and look at with the trauma and things that got you here, you'll never heal. So you have to go back in time and go, well, this is what happened here and there. And this is what I could have done differently. And this is what I need to do now to correct that. And that's what I'm learning now in therapy myself, you guys, like how to correct certain things. Because it's okay. That's how you heal. And one thing I'm going to say, guys, Healing is not easy. It's going to hurt. I would be lying to y'all if I said that you were not going to feel no pain while you're trying to heal. And one of my therapists used to always say, Sherelle, run through it if you can. You can walk or run through it. She said, but you're going to feel some pain while you're healing. You are going to feel pain. You are going to be in pain, y'all. And I hate saying that to you guys, but it's true. You're going to feel some days where you're really upset. You're really angry. You're really emotional. You're crying, but that is normal. It is a part of healing, getting all those emotions out of you, getting all that pain out of you and releasing it. And so, yes, it's not hard, but you can't give up. You got to sit in that pain and you got to feel it. One thing I'm learning is that I used to try to run from my feelings. As soon as I would start feeling all these emotions and pain, I would try to run from it. I would try to feel my pain with men, or fill my voids with different things in my life that weren't good for me, because I didn't want to sit by myself. I was so scared to be alone. I felt like I had to be in a relationship where I had to have somebody around me all the time to be, to be completed, which was not true. But that's what that, low self-esteem was telling me. And that's what that codependency was telling me. That's what the anxious attachment style was telling me, which was not true. But obviously, you're going to have to sit in it. You got to feel the pain. You got to sit in that pain. And one thing about it, when you're healing, another thing I'm going to tell you, you got to be alone sometimes. To heal, you have to be alone. You cannot heal if you choose not to be alone. Sorry, y'all, my dog was just like over there asleep. I saw him move and I turned my head. But you have to, when you're healing, you have to be alone sometimes. That was another thing I struggled with. I did not like to sit by myself. Sitting on the couch with myself made me so uncomfortable. It was like I'm sitting in this chair and I'm squirming like this, because I'm like, it's like you get jittery because you don't want to sit in that pain, but you're like forced to sit up in it, right? And so I'd be like, I'm jittery like this, trying to sit in this chair. And I want you guys to know that you have to sit in the pain and be by yourself to heal. You have to be alone sometimes, because if you don't learn to be alone and love yourself, you will never love you. If you don't learn to be okay with yourself, you will never heal. So healing is a journey. I had to learn to sit with myself, be okay with myself, whether somebody was sitting next to me on the couch or not, whether I was in a relationship or not, whether I had friends on me or not. You have to learn to sit alone at the table. It's like those little movies you see in the movies where the kids come into the lunchroom, they don't have no friends, and they sit at the table in the corner by themselves. I know that looks really sad, right? And that image is just horrible. But that's how you have to be. You have to sit there to heal. Sometimes you got to sit by yourself to heal, because only you know you, and you got to sit with yourself. Curl up on the couch, do what you got to do, and sit with yourself. One thing that helped me too was I would sit on my couch and pull out my Bible. When I would read my Bible on the couch, or I read my Christian books, or I would pull out the Bible on my phone and have it read out loud to me. I would do all kinds of things to stimulate my mind. And even sometimes, y'all, when I still want to sit with myself and I'm like looking around for company or something, I love puzzle books. So I pull out a puzzle book and do a puzzle. Like anything you can do while you're sitting alone, just so you don't feel anxious enough when you got to reach for that phone to call Tyrone or call Deborah or whoever. Just sit still. You got to sit still, because that's just what healing is. In order to fully address the things, you got to change your behaviors and your patterns too. Y'all, I am a work in progress. I ain't gonna lie, I'm still working on that. Today something triggered me today, and I was like, my therapist had told me in the session yesterday, Sherelle, this is how you need to respond to that. And I responded the complete opposite, because my anger got the best of me. And after that it happened, I was like, my therapist told me to say this and that, and I didn't even do it because I got caught up in my mind and I got angry. I started over explaining myself and all this stuff, and it's like, why? But you're a work in progress, y'all. But at least I acknowledge, though. I do acknowledge my patterns and things that I need to work on. And you have to do that too when you're healing. You got to acknowledge the patterns, acknowledge the things that you're doing, the behavior that you need to change. Because if you don't acknowledge the behavior and the patterns, you will keep doing it. But the more you call yourself out on and say, I made that mistake today, let me work on it. So next situation I get into, I'll know not to do that. That's what you have to do. Call yourself out. Like one of your girlfriends who would call you out on your stuff. Well, girl, you said you did this. No, call yourself out. Look at yourself and say, look, Sherelle, you said you was going to do this and you did that. You got to do better next time, right? And sometimes we got to point that finger at ourselves, because sometimes it's us, right? So you got to change those patterns and behaviors to heal who you are. And one of the biggest things I'm going to tell anybody, you got to learn to forgive yourself. Yes, you went through some things, yes, some trauma and something happened to you, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You have to forgive yourself for whatever happened in your life, whether big or small. Forgive yourself. Forgive that little girl. This is a little girl living inside of me. It's this little girl living inside you, or a little boy, whomever. Take that little girl, hold her, hug her, let her know you're here for her. You're going to get her through this. Whenever I would get upset last year, I would always tell myself, I would always talk to the inner girl, little girl in me. I would say, I'm here for you. I love you. I'm hugging you. I'm holding you. We're going to get through this together. I got you. I would tell her one day you're going to be safe. I'm going to hold your hand and get you through it, because that little girl lives within you and she's counting on you. And once you finally heal, you can release that little girl and let her go back. I always told my therapist, I want to release that little girl and have her run back in the woods with like a basket of flowers in her hand. She's skipping off because she knows that I'm safe now and that she can let go. And so that's a big one. But you got to forgive yourself. A lot of us don't forgive ourselves. We beat ourselves up for every mistake we make. And I'm still doing that sometimes. I won't lie to y'all. Sometimes I still beat myself up when I make mistakes. I'm like, oh, I made this mistake. Oh, God, I'm struggling to forgive me. But you have to learn to forgive yourself. When I have those moments, I sit with myself and I say, Sherelle, okay, this happened, that happened, made a mistake. It's not the end of the world. We're going to fix it. We're going to get it together. And that's what I do. But you got to learn to forgive yourself and let go. It is not, everything I'm telling y'all, I'm still working on myself to a certain extent, y'all. So there's no judgment here. But I'm working on it and I'm acknowledging it. And that's the biggest part to healing. Working on yourself and acknowledging what you need to work on. Once you get to that step, you're good. As long as you acknowledge it and you're working on it, that's all that matters. But you got to forgive yourself. And another thing I want to say, while you're healing, don't look at healing as just this bad thing that you have to go through. You can make it beautiful. Make your healing journey beautiful. You can surround yourself with positive people and good things and still do all the things you love and all that stuff. It doesn't have to be a miserable like you're in jail while you're healing. No, enjoy it. Make it memorable. Make it happy. Love it. Enjoy getting to know who you are as a human and love yourself. Put all that love into yourself, because the biggest thing is you got to learn to love yourself. So guys, those are some of the steps that I took to heal, and hope some of the steps that you'll take to heal as well. And to all my girlies, or even men who watch me, if you're healing, continue on your journey and just know that you got this, and I hear you, I see you, and we're going to get through this healing journey together, okay? And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to notify when I drop these videos for you guys, and I am out. See you in the next episode, or next video, should I say.